How's it going, guys? My name's Evan and welcome to episode 23 of my poker vlog. In this video we play at Hollywood Casino in Columbus, Ohio. Up in Columbus visiting a friend and decided to play some poker. And sorry for the delay, things just got a little hectic around the holidays, but going forward I want to post at least twice a month, so that's the plan. And stick to the end of the video. I'm going to go over my last year total as well as my plans for 2022. And with that being said, let's get into it. So we're playing 1-2 no limit, and we buying for the max, which is pretty big here. It's $400. Here in the big blind, we look down at King 10 of diamonds. There's 3 limps to me. I decide to make it 15 here, and all 3 limpers fold. I think I made it a little too big here. Not to worry, the very next hand in the small blind, we look down at a pretty good hand. We pick up pocket aces. Same thing, 3 limps to me. I decide to make it 15 again, hoping that someone doesn't believe me because I just raised the previous hand. But no dice, everyone folds. A little annoyed that I raised so big here again. So pretty quickly I realized that this was a very passive table, so I decided to play a little loose. Here in the big blind I look down at 4-5 of hearts. There's a $5 button straddle. I decide to make it 15, and everyone, including the button, decides to fold. Hoping to get some action going forward, I decide to show my hand here and make sure people know I'm capable of raising with this bad of a hand. Alright, there is a lot that goes on in this hand, so stick with me. I'm in middle position and look down at pocket kings. I'm not going to make the mistake of raising too big, so I only make it $7 this time. It folds to the small blind, who decides to 3-bet me to $20, and now the big blind comes in with a 4-bet to $52. I'm a little confused right now because I have a pretty decent hand and I don't want to just call and have the small blind come along as well. So I decide to put in the 5-bet to 125, hopefully getting this pot heads up or at least taking down all the dead money in the pot right now. When it gets to the small blind, he's pretty frustrated, and after thinking about it for a bit, he decides to fold. And now on the big blind, he starts thinking as well. And after about 30 seconds, he decides to go all in. I already made up my mind before the big blind even acted. I was calling no matter what. But if I were to just take a step back and realize this is 1-2 no limit, and this big blind player is putting in the 6-bet all in. Since I have pocket kings, there's only 2 combinations of ace-king suited he could have, which means it's very likely that he only has aces here. I was so focused on playing aggressive, I just never pondered the thought of folding. So I flicked in the chip, and of course he had pocket aces. The red out comes jack high, and we do not improve, and he's going to drag this pot. A side note though, the small blind did have pocket jacks, so he would have flopped top set. So I do like my 5-bet there. I just think I need to think about folding when the big blind goes all in there. Anyways, let's get some more chips. So we rebuy for 400, and we were getting pretty good cards, just not connecting with the board or just not getting any action at all before we look down at King 10 offsuit. I'm on the button and make it $10 and only get a call from my friend Nathan in the big blind. So we see a flop heads up that comes Queen Jack 4 all diamonds. So we have the king high flush draw as well as being open-ended. He decides to lead into me here for $10. I decide to just make the call, and we see a turn card of another jack. This time he checks it to me, and with all the outs I have, I decide to bet here for $25, and he calls rather quickly. The river is no help, it comes in offsuit 6. He checks again, and I decide to take one more stab at it. I make it $30, and after some thought, he decides to call. He ends up having ace jack with the ace of diamonds. So although we lost this pot, I am really glad another diamond didn't come, or we would have lost a lot more. So here we look down at ace king offsuit in the small blind. There's a $5 button straddle, and I decide to make it 15. It folds all the way to the button, who decides to put in the 3-bet to $50 here. After thinking over my options here, I decide to just make the call. So we go to a flop that comes 10 high. I decide to check it, and interesting enough, he decides to check it back here. The turn's a blank, and I check it to him again, and this time he bets 50. This is a pretty weird line he takes because he 3-bet pre-flop but then doesn't continue on the flop. And now when this blank comes and he leads out, I'm just a little confused at what he could have. He either has this board absolutely locked up with something like pocket tens, or he has something like ace king or ace queen and is just betting to deny equity from me. I go pretty deep into the tank here because I am very confused on what to do. I'm thinking it's either an all-in or a fold for me, so after thinking for a little longer, I decide to release my hand, and he ends up showing ace king. So that one definitely hurt a bit. So the last hand we're going to go over, I'm on the button and look down at ace jack of clubs. There's a raise from middle position to $15. I decide to put in the 3-bet here to $35. I kind of like my move here, I just wish I went a little bigger. It folds back to the middle position raiser and he decides to put in the call. So we go to a flop heads up that comes 10 high. He checks it to me. I decide to put out a c-bet here for $25 and he makes the call. The turn comes a queen, no help to me, and I don't even get to act because he decides to lead into me here for $90. I do not see this guy making this move as a bluff, so it's pretty clear I'm behind. I decide to just release my hand, and after playing for a little longer, and with the little money I had behind, I decided to hit the cage. So we were in for 800, out for 126 for a loss of 674. Honestly, didn't play great, and booking my biggest loss ever did not feel good, but I'm just looking to bounce back from it. This brings our 23 episode total to 1866. I'm going to put a graph up on the screen just showing my progression throughout last year. And going into 2022, there are a couple things I have planned for the year. So in February, I plan on playing at MGM National Harbor. In March, I plan on going up to Atlantic City. And in May, I plan on going to Vegas. So I'm hoping to put out a lot of good content for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. With that being said, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.